You are watching the Pan-African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tata. The Africa we want: unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherlands calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers on the Pan-African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa.
So greetings.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning to all of you watching me on the continent and in the diaspora. Normally this is 12 p.m. up breaking on the topic situation room today, and we're streaming live from Europe, and the weather's very, very bad. We have serious rains and winds in the southern region of Germany this afternoon, and so do not worry because of the connection can be tripping or buffering. Now, we just got up to this breaking news update. We don't know whether it's true or not true that Tanzania has banned Kiswahili or Swahili in their secondary schools as one of the official language. We just got this message on the Pan-African Daily, and I've been getting a lot of calls and concerns. Is that true? Is that not true? And the source of this information came actually from DW. From DW, a correspondent shared out that news out there saying that Tanzania has officially banned Kiswahili or Swahili in their secondary schools. Tanzania is the prominent language, which we are even looking up to adopting it as a common language for Africans worldwide. And so, Africans are just confused. What is going on out there in Tanzania? Is it true or is it fake news? And if it is fake news, why will DW have his signature, his logo on this news that came out yesterday announcing that Swahili has been banned in the secondary schools in Tanzania and East African community, as a matter of fact. And we reach out to a couple of people and correspondents out there. Some are saying it's true. Some are saying, no, it's not true, because Swahili has always been the language, official language, or English, sorry, has been the official language in the secondary schools in Tanzania. So they actually are not believing that this could be true. But other opinions are saying that that could be true. That they have seen, I don't know whether newspapers, but I wrote out to our official correspondent out there, David, who is a journalist, a professional journalist, and David is still yet to confirm the source, if it is true or not true. But the question we want to ask out today is like, let's just even think that this could even happen. That is true. That should be crazy, isn't it? That would be insanity, because we already know that Swahili has been officially adopted by the African Union as the diplomatic language, whatever it means, diplomatic official language of Africa. It means for Africans at home and abroad. And only for us to hear this kind of a breaking news or fake news or stories or whatever. But if I see a news or a correspondent to research a news with a DW, Deutsche Welle stamp on it, then there can be no smoke without fire. So actually, this is what happened. Last night, we got this communique from our correspondents and our young volunteers on the continent who were questioning a lot to say, we are struggling to adopt a common language for the continent, and this is what we're getting. And exactly this is what the communique read. Tanzania has banned Swahili, one of its official languages, from secondary schools across the East African country. The first thing that was very funny is saying that across the EC, it means the East African community. If they say it's just Tanzania, we could even still doubt it. But if they say they ban it in the East African community, that is what even makes it more, pulls the attention of Africans to say this cannot be true. And they say its curriculum has mainly been taught in Swahili, right, including subjects such as physics, biology, and chemistry until now. But what we're getting from Tanzania is this is not true. And in the secondary education in the curriculum of Tanzania, English is the main subject here. So where is this coming from? We still have to find out on that. So the reporter, Benjamin Oganga, Deputy Director of Secondary Education at the President's Office, okay? Benjamin Oganga, Deputy Director of Secondary Education at the President's Office, said the unprecedented step is aimed at ensuring that students can express themselves properly in the Queen's language. In the Queen's language. Do you think it's the right move at a time Swahili is gaining popularity globally? And we have the correspondent here, Ikulu Mawasiliano. Ikulu Mawasiliano is the correspondent of this and said it is coming from Mr. Benjamin Oganga, the Deputy Director of Secondary Education at the President's Office. When they say at the President's Office, we're talking about Her Excellency President Suluhu Zamia, and it's questionable a lot. So we want to get your opinions and your impressions about it. Is it true? And if this is true, this is disastrous. We all know that. And so talking to a couple of people since yesterday before I could come up live to break this update, prominent voices like Professor PLO Lumumba wrote in one of our groups and said, this would be disastrous if this is true. And when I talk to Barbara Ngwamesia is actually the biggest voice that is trying to put all African languages into a podcast or into a platform where we can begin to learn our culture, our heritage through our languages or means of expressions. And Swahili is one of that big brother that Africans are looking up and actually pushing this agenda to be adopted into all schools across the continent. So why on earth would Swahili be banned in Tanzania and the East African community? And a lot of feedback has been coming as voices of Africans worldwide saying this cannot be true. And if this is true, this is insanity. This is insanity. And we hear like prominent voices like ambassadors, actually putting their opinion on this is like, we've been hearing in the past that the personal advisor or the international correspondent for the presidency in Tanzania is the ex-president, Mr. Tony Blair of England, of UK, and that if this is true, then it would be no secret to say UK is trying to bring its agenda, to actually degrade the African language Swahili that is coming up. But like I said, these are stories, these are opinions. This is what we are getting in our groups and from our correspondents on the continent and even in the diaspora. That if this should be true, this would be another war against the African language that is currently gaining grounds globally, where Africans are looking forward. Like us on the Pan-African Daily, we already have a correspondent and we want to start doing webinars on Swahili every Saturday, free of charge on Zoom, to start teaching Swahili for Africans worldwide. Whether you are in Nigeria, or you are in Tanzania itself, or you are in Egypt or in Mali or in Cameroon, we have to adopt Swahili as the country's official diplomatic language, as officially announced by the African Union. And I can remember when Professor Pielo Lumumba came to Tübingen in 2019 at the Africa Festival, he actually made this clear. And these videos, we're going to be uploading it tonight because of this upbreaking, we are beginning to research opinions and topics that we've already been dwelling on. And most of these was the articulation of our great leaders calling on one language for Africans worldwide. That is the Pan-African agenda and also the AU agenda of 2063. And so how come that a language that we are fighting to adopt as the common language, that Africans would be able to get themselves out of these languages like French, English, Portuguese, and Spanish, and all these languages that we're expressing ourselves on the continent, and suddenly we're getting this kind of news? We would like to get really a correspondence from DW who actually put out this communique. If this is true, and if this is true, this is going to be another breaking topic that we will make so much noise, and we are going to be unstoppable to say this cannot work. Now, this is the reason why it will not work. It will not work because we know that Dr. Masira from Kenya is telling us exactly these facts and saying this cannot be true. Pan-African Daily TV, this what we are seeing here cannot be true. And should in case it be true, that this is going to be another war that we'll be fighting in the 21st century. So I'm looking forward for you to call into the studio right here. We're going to keep it really short because this is Situation Room Tanzania. We want this message to get right up to Her Excellency and the Deputy Secretary of the Secondary Education, as announced in this communique, if this is true, to actually confirm. But of course, we do understand, to be honest with you, we have had a lot of correspondence with Tanzania, and we realize that most Tanzanian youth in particular sectors actually could not express themselves in English up to now. I'm not just saying it. I've been doing projects on the Africa Festival Tübingen with Tanzanian youth. And one of the topics that we talked about was the inability for the young people on the continent, particularly in Tanzania, to always, to gain global partnership or networks because of the inability to communicate. And we even did some videos during the Africa Festival 2018 where one of our exhibitors from Tanzania was actually teaching Swahili to the other project partners that were at the festival. And these videos, we're going to be uploading them on the Africa Festival YouTube channel, so you can actually get the vibe and you can know how annoying if we get messages like this. And exactly on that same day at the Pan-African conference in Tübingen, Germany, 2019, Professor Pielo Lumumba made a very strict announcement on that to say, Africa, learn to tell your stories. Learn to tell your stories, because if you don't tell your stories, others would interpret your stories from their own perspective. So let's just even think for 1 second that this is true. And maybe the way the message comes out is not the way the deputy of the House of Her Excellency means to interpret it. Then you see, it will be another way of always just representing Africa in a bad and a poor narrative. It is not funny, because even if it is fake, the number of viewers, the number of shares on this communique is too much to repair the damage. And that's why it took us a lot of emphasis and courage to come up live at 12 p.m. to begin to say, we're not going to take this line down. All this kind of, even if it is true, we would like to get the correspondence of education, of the secondary education, this deputy excellency, to come on the Pan-African Daily TV and actually maybe justify the reason why it came out like that. But from what we already hear, everybody is just saying this cannot even be true, because in our secondary schools, we prioritize English. But then another thing that is really confusing and annoying, as I can say it, is like when you say it is adopting the Queen's language. That is very, very annoying. The Queen's language. Which is the Queen's language? Because we know that in Tanzania, we have, I think, more than 130 languages. Just like in Cameroon or West Africa. Like in Cameroon, if I'm talking about our languages, my language is Meta. Barbara's language is Mungaka. And then we have the Betis or the Bulus. Like in Nigeria, we have the Yorubas, we have the Igbos. So when we say Queen's language, what are we actually talking about? Because even Swahili is actually an adopted language that we because it's widely spoken in East African community, it was taught, and this is actually true to be the official language. So how come? I want to hear your comments. I want to pick up your calls. Really tell me if this is true. If this is a lie, then we would have to get this correspondence from DW, officially apologize for actually bringing out such. Because at moments where Africans are actually awakening to begin to create the Africa that we want, we don't want any people messing out with stories that are not actually from us or our stories, or telling our stories in a different kind of a narrative. But should it happen that it is true, then we have an issue to deal with here in the East African community. If it is just like most feedback, so most Africans are saying, yes, it could also happen that we elevate the level of communication to do global business. That is not a problem. And English would be actually the facilitator in this factor. But right now, why do we use the term banned? Banned from secondary schools? That is what is annoying. If English is already the medium of teaching in the school, so why would we ban? Why would we put a ban on Swahili? I mean, just the communique was, I read it time and time again. I said, this is not true. Banned. I mean, we could even say, we are upgrading. Like we promote the English language for international business and purposes and travels and communication and facilitation for whatever reason, for Tanzanians who are going abroad to be able to express themselves or to do business, in a more facilitated way. But if you tell me that it is banned, that is something else. That is actually something else. Yes. And then another thing that we actually feedbacks are coming, like we have Bill Moesha from Equatorial Guinea saying, even if that's the truth, it is still not right. It is still not right, and question the same fact that Professor PLO Lumumba 2019 in Tübingen at the Pan-African Conference said, Africa has to create an agenda. We have to, not an agenda, Africa has to hold a meeting as soon as possible. And we were talking about 2020 before COVID came in. And he said that meeting should be focused on one point. One point should be on the agenda of the general meeting on African Congress on the continent. And the one key point should be, what is wrong with us Africans? I'm going to be uploading all these videos on a playlist on Professor PLO Lumumba's key speech and question and answers at the Pan-African Congress or Conference in Africa Festival Tübingen 2019. Because right now, as you hear me speaking, we are already preparing for 2023 Africa Festival Tübingen, and the Pan-African Conference Part 2 is going to be one of the biggest project that we're going to have this year, with also, voices like Professor PLO Lumumba, Dr. Arikana, and all these Pan-Africanists that are coming up to say we can create the Africa that we want, a common agenda where we can actually globalize Pan-Africanism, and even use it as a solution to do business with foreign partners. Why not? But like I was saying, Bill Moisha reached out personally and dropped a note and said, this is crazy if that would happen, because look at countries like Russia, look at countries like Germany, look at countries like even the UK and English and French, Portuguese, Spanish, Italians. Though they are in a common union called the European Union, each country maintains its official language. Does it mean that when they are doing business globally, they don't speak French or they don't speak English? They do. And that is why we thought Agenda 2063 was very perfect to say we are adopting Swahili as the official diplomatic language of the African continent and for Africans worldwide. What does this actually mean, the diplomatic language? Please hold on. My green screen here, my background is spinning here, and it's not funny because we're speaking about things that are very important. I don't want any distraction right here in the studio. Okay, so yeah, please make sure you're checking. Yeah, what I was saying is, what does it actually mean? What does it actually imply when we talk about a diplomatic language or a language that is for diplomacy? It means it's like Russia. I just want to use this. It's like Russia having its original language. Though Russia actually supports, the Queen's language for its business purposes, doesn't mean that when they are in their own conference or dealing with others, they don't speak Russian. It is the same thing like Turkey. You can always see the president, President Erdogan, actually always stressing, even in international conferences, they would translate Turkish into English. And exactly that's why we thought exactly Swahili would also be that language where when our leaders would go on conferences or Africans who want to express themselves on global platforms, they will speak officially in Swahili, and we'll also be looking for translators that would be translating what we're saying in English. Nothing wrong with these processes. But if we would hear something like this, when we would get the news like this, that Swahili has been banned in one of the countries that we know that is supposedly 98% speaks Swahili in this East African community, then it is a problem. Then we must really question and find out what is going on, what is happening. So I want to hear your comments. I want to hear you call in the studio and tell us what is happening. Oh my God. All right. What is going on? What is going on? Is it true? Is it not true? Call in, and let us get your comment as we speak. So you can call in on +49 1578 211 2379. WhatsApp only, please. WhatsApp only is going to be the number that we'll be picking here in the studio. Like I said, our studio images are just acting crazy. Is it also because they are annoyed that Swahili, that Swahili is going to be the country's, is banned from Tanzania? Yes, we want to get your comments. We want to get your calls in the studio on +49 1578 211 2379. WhatsApp only. Thank you so very much. And why we are saying this today on the Pan-African Daily TV, we're going to have our correspondent, a young executive for Pan-African Daily TV in Tanzania. And apparently, he is the one that has to start our webinars on teaching Kiswahili and Swahili in the person of Benjamin Hokoroko. And so Benjamin Hokoroko is going to be our speaker for tonight on the Pan-African Daily TV. We want to actually hear from him, as a teacher. What are Tanzanians thinking about this? Is it true? He's going to confirm to us. So make sure you're joining us live on Pan-African Daily TV tonight. Let's get the voices of Tanzanians speaking on this point. It is not acceptable, and Africans are never going to accept this. Okay, and if it was even true, I think the African Union would have been the one announcing, because like we said, they're already adopting the agenda. They've already accepted the agenda to to start institutionalizing the educational system of Africa and to make uh, Swahili the official language, diplomatic language on the continent, or how you want to call it, but it's going to be that language that all of us, our children, whether in all sectors on the continent, in the diaspora, are going to start communicating in Swahili. And like I said, tonight you have to be joining us. If we are not getting calls, means we're going to pick these calls. I know it's midday, and a lot of you out there in your offices or doing, just like us working also on the Pan African Daily TV. So we want to get your opinion and your impressions about this. So please give us your comment. Give us your comment on what you think. On what you think. Should Kiswahili be banned or Swahili be banned in Tanzania? What would be your opinion? Please, can you also drop it in the comments so we can pick it up from there? So we have this comment coming up from the point saying Swahili needs to be taught to every African person everywhere on the planet and funded by the government of the colonizers and African families that benefited from the transatlantic slave trade. Thank you so much for this opinion. This is loud and clear, of course. Of course, this is the way it's supposed to be. What are your opinions on it? What do you think about that? What do you think about that? Should it be banned in East African communities? This is going to be a war on the African language and educational system, isn't it? Yes. So we are looking forward to many comments. We are looking forward to what you think about this. The first thing is this true or false? Is this true or false? Is this press release true or false? That's what we want to know. That's the first thing. And if it is true, what is it that we should do? What will Africans be doing about it? Swahili banned into Tanzania and East African countries in the secondary school education on the curriculum. This cannot happen, isn't it? This is going to happen. We already have many battles that we're going through, and this one is one of the agendas that we have put out. Pan-Africans have put out one language, one currency, one agenda for Africans worldwide. And now getting this is not working. Should not work, will not work, cannot even work. What is your impression about it? Good. So we have Agola saying, when you have mother tongue, you can translate up to 7 languages, or you can learn up to 6 languages. Correct. That is very true. You can learn other languages when you have your mother tongue. So there's just even no reason why we should not have other additional languages, and particularly Swahili. Swahili is going to be the 21st language on the African continent for Africans worldwide. So yes, we want to hear your opinions on this. And we're getting your comments. Thank you so very much, Dewey, who is saying the president of Tanzania is working for the West, not for Tanzanians, he thinks. Thank you for your opinion. We want to know what you think about this, because there's no smoke without fire. Even if the communique is misinterpreted, Africans are already getting worried. And we can see Joko saying, was it Prince William's who told his brother Africa belongs to him? Right? I mean, thank you for your opinion. We want to know, first of all, is this true? And if this is true, this is going to be a disaster. Benjamin here is saying, no, Benson Muhiri is saying, if this is true, it is a disaster to the Pan-African spirit. As you have indicated, it was devastating news when we heard that Mr. Tony Blair is advising the Tanzanian president. I mean, where is the principles of Magufuli? That's what Benson is articulating right here. So thank you. If you cannot call directly because of your chores and whatever reason, drop your comment at the chat. We are rounding up this update and situation room But please do join us tonight on Pan African Daily TV Live with our correspondent Benjamin Hokoroko, who is the Pan African Daily TV volunteer leading the group of Tanzanians on the continent, and also our correspondent for teaching Kiswahili on the Pan African Daily TV. Coming up in up as from February, every Saturday, free webinars are going to be offered for Africans worldwide to sign in and learn Swahili with Benjamin. But of course, we had a conversation with our brother Ayo Kimati, and it was very challenging because we actually also touched this point. And one of the things that we talked about actually was language. You know, what if we come up with another language, you know, a totally different language, and could be also one of the kind of inspirations that Africans will start from zero from all countries, you know, to start a new language. So we are working on all these topics to see what actually would be the proper way for Africans. And I'm a little bit distracted because of the comments that I have here. Our brother Leon Smith is saying Swahili all the way. There's no way we are going to give up Swahili, whether it is banned or not banned from any education. Africans are going to take this language and run with it. They're going to run with it. We're already starting to put our curriculums. We're already starting to teach Pan-African on the Pan-African Daily TV webinars or Academy Swahili. Two languages that we're going to be teaching is Pidgin English and Swahili. And we are launching this project, Pan-African Daily TV Academy, in February. And every Saturday, we're going to be having teachers to teach us Patois, which is also commonly speaking in the Caribbean islands, similar to Pidgin, so that we can understand ourselves. So we're going to run with that agenda, Pidgin, and we're also going to run with Swahili. It's going to be free webinars where you can connect on Zoom, you know, anywhere across the globe, every Saturdays. So please, it is not funny. It is not funny. It is not funny. And like we said, like it or not, Swahili all the way. The Pan-African agenda is Agenda 2063 is starting already, has started things. You know, while some people are still debating on its aspirations and the blueprint to say, oh, 2063 is too far, we're already working on it. The Africa We Want Network is our organization, because we cannot wait till 2063. We have to start it today. 2063 is the finishing line where Africa is completely going to be ruled by African values and culture. And so going back to the way Africa was created from its origin, that is exactly what is going to happen in 2063. But how do we get to 2063 without starting it today? Rome was never built in a day. That's what we say. But we are saying Africa also had been built before, and we had our indigenous languages and cultures and heritage. And so we are also bringing that agenda. And every other country and civilization in the world did the same thing. Africa is not wrong. Africa is really on the right path. Africa is just on point to begin to actually, you know, institutionalize. Oh my God, to begin to rebrand its educational sector, particularly by coming up with an official language that Africans can express themselves, irrespective of the other languages that we have, the Yorubas, the Arabic, or English, or French, or Portuguese, or Spanish. That's just a value added. But we are coming with our own language where we are going to express ourselves. Okay, so we are on track. Germans did the same thing. Okay, all nations in the world has a unique language. I mean, we enjoy these privileges, you know, of speaking in their own language, and they are really honored and humbled. I mean, you see Germans will never tell you that they can speak good English, even though they know English, they know French. But if you talk to a German, he will tell you, I don't understand. Oh, my English is not good. And I love that. You know, Germans will tell you my English is not good. What does that mean? It means, I mean, my German is so perfect to a point that, you know, I cannot trade it for English. That is just exactly the point. And they will struggle with you to, like, like, I want to speak a broken a German here, or broken English. But it's because they all know the German language. And that's why good examples like the Germans, like the German language, we can actually adopt from their principles, the way they actually are so proud. And these languages, you have all their cultural centers on the continent of Africa. This is also one of the things that Professor PLO talked about at the Africa Festival in Tübingen, Germany, 2019. He said the most amazing thing with the Europeans or the Germans, he made this because we were talking in Germany, and he's going to be talking about that in 2023 again, to say, Germans, you have their embassies everywhere on the continent. But we've never had an African cultural embassy or center anywhere in the world. We don't. And he referred to the Africa Festival Tübingen, Germany, as a start. That what he saw at the Africa Festival Tübingen is a little bit what should happen in all European countries. Getting an African cultural center where we teach our language, our history by us, our food, our culture, our travel, and tell our stories. That's what German embassies on the continent of Africa, French cultural embassies, British, no, because they're already on it. All right. But go to all French cultural centers, go to all German cultural centers. You would find it there. How to travel to Germany, how to do business with Germans, and they even study the German language courses. Before you come to study in Germany, you have to learn the German language. What is wrong in that? I promote it. I love it because that's exactly the way I want to see Africa develop. So we have to get our own African cultural centers all over the globe, where we teach also foreigners how to travel to Africa, how to invest and do business with Africans, how to speak and respect Africans, just they also put their values. There's nothing wrong on it. So that's going to be one of the main focus agenda on the Africa Festival Tübingen 2023. We are going to hammer on this point on the Pan-African Conference to say language, Swahili, is going to be the official language. And we're even going to be doing a moderation and conferences and even teaching, live teachings. The ones that we will start on Pan-African Daily will continue those webinars on our event, wherever we'll be evolving in 2023. So please mark this date. Mark this date. It is not going to happen that, and I say it and I'm repeating it, I'm as a correspondent and facilitator on the Pan-African Daily TV, Voices of Africans Worldwide, we are saying Swahili has been adopted and we're going to stick to it. And we consider this news fake. And even if it is true, it has another meaning to the way it's communicated. That's the way we think. That's our opinion. That's our thought. That's our perspective on it. Because right now, the Pan-African Daily TV Academy is launching free webinars for Swahili, and Benjamin, who is our correspondent for tonight, is going to be our guest speaker. I'm so sorry, Brother Brown. Mr. Brown, you're saying Pan-African Daily, you're too early today. No, it's a break-in. We're going to be breaking some of these updates when we hear, not just only being on the conversations. Our opening times are always 8 p.m. In Europe and 2 p.m. Eastern America, and in South Africa, if you change your times, it's going to be 9 p.m. or in UK it's 7 p.m. Europe. Those are our standard times, okay? But this standard times means when there is a break-in, like a situation that comes up like this, and we are getting a lot of calls and a lot of messages from our correspondents from Africans worldwide, it calls for a concern that we must wake up. So yes, you are going to get this kind of break-ins coming up at 12 p.m. 12 p.m. because that's our solidarity code of Pan-Africanism. So our Pan-African code is One Africa for Africans Worldwide on Ubuntu. I am because you are because I am, and we're going to be breaking 12 p.m. Okay? Not every day, but when we have break-ins like this, you watch out for at 12 p.m. So when we say we're having 12 p.m. news, you just know there's an update or a break-in. and more is going to be coming up. Tomorrow, I also am getting a lot of feedback that the president of Senegal is actually coming out powerfully to start promoting brands made in Senegal by Senegalese. That is also another breaking that we have to start talking about. So 12 p.m. is going to be that time where we have just 1 hour. Now is 1:12 p.m. and I'll be ending this broadcast. Normally, if we had started punctually without technical setbacks, it is 1 hour, 12 p.m. that will be coming up to do the outbreaks. And of course, it's loading on your individual platform. So if you are not able to catch up with the 12 p.m. news, you're going to get it also uploaded on our YouTube channels and platforms, or where we're streaming, so you can always catch up with this news. Are you a journalist out there? Are you a correspondent that is interested to bring us this kind of breakup? We're looking for you. Join our Pan-African Daily TV Academy and volunteers group that is represented in all countries across Africa. We are coming up with a very powerful structures, and we'll be needing you, to bring us such content on the Pan-African Daily News, Pan-African Podcast Radio, and also on the Pan-African TV, which we are. So please make sure you are sending us a text on WhatsApp, and you are going to be integrated, and your correspondents and your leaders are already there. We have Petrina of Namibia, we have Aliu of Nigeria, we have Eugene in Gambia, and all our other correspondents in all the countries representatives. So if you are interested to be the face of the narratives of Pan-Africanism on the Pan-African Daily TV, please send us an email. You can email us at panafricandailytv@gmail.com, or just send us a WhatsApp on our WhatsApp number +49 1578 211 2379. Our trainings for you to create and to be able to own a space on the Pan-African Daily TV would start also in February or March latest. The curriculum is already set. The trainings are already set. So the groups are already customizing themselves. So we have currently 48 groups, right? 48 groups in the country representatives, and also in the diaspora, we have 12 presently. So if you want to be a country representative, right, a volunteer country representative to create and to bring and to host on the Pan-African Daily TV, make sure you WhatsApp us or send us an email, and we'll be integrating you before we start our trainings. So thank you so very much for all of you that joined the Situation Room Tanzania on the issue of Swahili has been banned in secondary schools as reported by DW correspondents. And we're looking forward to find out if this is true, if this is just fake, or somebody just used the logo of DW, to put out such content. We'll be coming back to you in the evening with speakers live on the show to tell us if this is true or this is not true. Thank you so very much. We wish to see you connect with us tonight, 8 p.m. Central European Time, 2 p.m. Eastern American Standard, and respectively in your countries where you are. I think it's also 8 p.m. South Africa, or 9 p.m. wherever you are, East African community. Please join and contribute to make Africa great again. It already was great, and when we say great, it's great again. All right. So thank you so very much. And also watch out for our confirmation of the dates for Africa Festival Tübingen and other festivals that we'll be hosting on this topic, Pan-Africanism. I mean, the programs have really, really been upgraded. We want to do what we call Renaissance Africa festivals. Renaissance Africa festivals are one of the events that Pan-African Daily TV is going to be accompanying, and we already see the community in Canada already lobbying to say we want to get one of this project in Canada in 2023. We have our brothers in Jamaica, where I visited, already saying we are looking forward to also have this event in 2023 or 2024. And so any other countries that will be operating with. I think I have a caller right now. Let us just pick this before we end up. Hello?
Habari, Dr. Susan.
Habari.
Yes, I pray that this news is fake. And if it's not fake, it has to be stopped, because the time for Africa selling out is over. The United States of Africa has manifested itself. It's happening. And it's going to become official in due time, but it's already here. And these kind of things cannot allow to happen. And I really, really, really pray it's fake news. And if it's not fake news, this is the time for our community to come together and realize the power of social media and for us to stop this. The Paul Kagamis, the conscious people of the continent, Dr. Susan, you and all your following and the people that come on your show can reach out to Tanzania, because Tanzania is one of the future spots of Africa because of Swahili. Me, myself, because of Pan-African TV, I am going to learn Swahili. I want to build a school in Africa, and that school will teach Swahili.
Wonderful.
So, yes.
Sister, tell us more. I'm going to get you on the show to tell us more about this school, because honestly, you are just on point. Go ahead. I'm sorry for interrupting.
Oh, no problem. The school will be in Crawford, in Zma, in Kwame Nkrumah's hometown, to honor his legacy and to fulfill what he wanted to do. And it was going to be a trade school taught in our local language. But because of the push for the people who want, the people are crying out for Swahili. And what the people want is what they will get. So because of this modern change and this demand for the African to unite and speak Swahili, I'm going to add Swahili to it. You can even opt to be taught from Swahili from beginning to end.
Wonderful. Congratulations, sister. We can't wait to have this project of yours on the Pan-African Daily TV. Anytime, any soon. Yes, we want to get in touch. So we start mobilizing our people in the Twi language. As you know me, I'm Nana Efwa, the Queen Mother of the Asin community in Ghana. I would be pushing this this agenda with all my power, with all my force, and I look forward to officially be there to launch this school of yours, sister. Thank you so very much for bringing out your voice clean and clear. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Susan.
Thank you.
God bless.
Blessings.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Yeah, so you see, and more schools are coming up. They're not going to be supported and promoted by the government. Private sector is already picking up to run with it, and it's not stoppable. I can already guarantee you. Yes, Tanzania is probably the country on the continent that speaks Swahili, along with Kenya, Uganda, versus So we just make Swahili part of the curriculum, of course. That is what we've been saying. I just want to read some statistics that are coming in right here on our WhatsApp group from Dr. Masiri. And he just put on some statistics here and say, please, people, watch on this. If this is true, this is going to be disastrous, because I pray it should not be. It should not be because of these factors. He said, in East African communities, Swahili is national language where Tanzania speaks only English. And if they have banned in schools, that means they want to introduce another language in the country. I am from Kenya. Uganda recently introduced Kiswahili for the first time in history. Tanzanians 100% are speaking Swahili. Kenyans 98%, Rwanda 65%, South Sudan 5%, Burundi 20%. And he said DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo, recently joined the East African community so soon, so they will also have to be adopting Swahili coming up. So yes, the voices are louder. And we say if anything would happen in this direction, this is a direct attack on Pan-Africanism, and this would not happen. Like the sister said, we're reaching out to Tanzania. Please send us and share this video extensively to reach Her Excellency, whom we so much count and trust her with all our might. And I was the one person with Baba Rangwa Messiah who said, no, this is fake. Madam would never allow this to happen. And even if it is, there must be another meaning than just the word ban to it. So we look forward to you bringing out this message to reach Her Excellency on our behalf. Thank you so very much. And like I said, we see us tonight, and to continue with our agenda, please join us with Benjamin tonight live on Pan African Daily TV. Thank you. Good night, good afternoon, good day. Peace and blessings. Bye. You are watching the Pan African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tata. The Africa we want: unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherlands calling its diaspora home. Join my voice